Last Wednesday I indicated that I would be covering the subject of a lesbian couple and domestic violence. This is that video. There are two obvious things that bother me about this, before we even get into it. The first is the bias. It is not the first time supposed extenuating circumstances have been applied and the law bent because of this nonsense. Think back to that Oxford student, you know, the one that stabbed her boyfriend, but was considered so special, even though she was a junkie, a neurologist wannabe, because what you really want is a cocaine addict touching your brain. And in this instance, it's an obvious bias because of the, quotes, testosterone levels being too high. There are other problems, and we'll get to them. So this is the lovely couple. Can you tell which one the abuser is? I mean, take a real long, hard look. Who just looks like a complete and utter psychopath? Like they would chin you just cause. Yeah. So, lesbian mum who beat wife avoids jail as he has high levels of, quotes, male hormones. It's nice to know that they've managed to scapegoat violence with being male, huh? Or the excuse given because of her testosterone. It's not like she could actually control her anger. I mean, guys do it all the time. A lesbian mum who brutally beat her wife was spared jail after claiming she had high levels of male hormones. Fantastic. Let me guess, polycystic ovaries? I don't care. You physically violent towards your partner. The punishment is prison, and rightly so. Luann Budgeon had a meltdown when her wife of 18 months, Hayley, left a family Christmas gathering early so she could put the couple's 3 kids to bed. I'm sorry, you savagely beat your wife, and the excuse given is because of the male hormones, the same male hormones that men keep in check all the time, but you couldn't control that, and all because she left it early to do what a parent should do. Wow. 3 hours after Hayley left the bash, Budgeon turned up drunk at the family home in Radcliffe, near Bury blah blah. Well, now we know that it was a drunken rage. It doesn't sound so much like the male hormone part, but like a drunken idiot. But it's nice again to have the scapegoats though, right? Because when men are drunk, they just turn into savages. Hashtag not all, of course. After first asking her wife for cash for a taxi, she then dragged her by the hair from bed and punched her in the head at least 5 times. What is it with women fighting? You watch it on World Star Hip Hop a lot. Okay, I do, because it's hilarious. And they always go for the hair. They're not standing upright and loading up on the jab. Hayley, who is reportedly in her 30s, well, you've already aged her, given her age, called cops after the attack just minutes before Christmas Day and suffered bruising and soreness. Yes, she got beaten up. Congratulations. Now let's hear what the court says, because I really want to know about this. In a police statement, she asked for Budgeon to be made the subject of a restraining order, rightly so. Can't have that kind of person around those children, after all. Telling officers, this incident has made me realise that the relationship is over. I cannot be with someone who is violent. Was she ever violent before? Because if she was then you've just been holding on for what? The family? That excuse is used a lot. I really don't like it. I'm very upset and heartbroken that someone who I was genuinely in love with could do this to me and had harmed me in such a way. But amazingly, Budgeon has walked free after telling Manchester magistrates she has polycystic ovary syndrome, called it, a condition that causes women to have heightened levels of male testosterone. Again though, I have to point this out. You may not be able to handle this extra masculinity in you, but men handle it all the time. Am I right to assume now that the increase in male victims of domestic violence is because all those extra female abusers have polycystic ovary syndrome as well? Or is that just the convenient, very convenient, scapegoat? She also blamed her behaviour on domestic abuse she witnessed as a child. Well, now this is interesting, and call me a cynic, but surely if you witnessed it, you wouldn't want to repeat it. I know people who witnessed their parents fighting as a child, physically, and at no point have those people grown up thinking, you know what I want to do? When I'm older, I want to be just like them. I want to knock that person out. I want to knock my wife out in front of my kid or my husband, depending on who the man is. Based on the polycystic ovary syndrome, it could be either. Quite frankly, I consider this a rubbish excuse. Pathetic excuse. An embarrassing excuse. The sentence is 5 years in prison. That's what it should be. You should be in prison for 5 years. No jokes. And as far as I'm concerned, the fact you got off with a community order is an insult. It's an insult to your ex-wife, soon to be hopefully, who should hopefully never have to see you again. You can't be trusted around the kids, because that male testosterone is really doing a number on you. Have you considered, I don't know, surgery perhaps? It sounds a bit callous, I know, but UK law says some very specific things on the subject of domestic violence, and in this instance, a quote, mitigating circumstance has caused some quite obvious bollocks to take place. The court heard Budgeon has 5 previous convictions, including criminal damage and assault, but no domestic violence. Hang on, no. She still got off, even though 5 previous convictions, which include criminal damage and assault. And you're still letting her... Let me guess, all of this was because of testosterone, right? Yeah. Have you considered just, I don't know, oh, I've already said it, surgery. How about you consider doing something simpler? Just putting yourself in a room on your own for 5 years. In mitigation, her lawyer said she has little recollection of what took place, but since it happened, she has taken it upon herself to seek the help to deal with these things. That will never make up for the fact that you allowed yourself to be put in a position where you were so drunk, you thought it was okay to physically assault your wife. Again, prison, I'm wearing the right outfit for this. You belong in an ISO cube. Bullies like you deserve nothing. She has a number of health conditions, including polycystic ovaries, and social services are involved with all parties in the family. I don't care. I really don't care. There should be an absolute zero tolerance for domestic abuse, and you have a history of violence. Maybe not domestic violence in this particular relationship. The wording is quite clear here, but no domestic violence in her relationship with Haley. It doesn't state any previous one, and only 2 previous convictions are mentioned. Assault, not too specific, huh? She has been spoken to by social services, but they have no concerns about her getting back together with Haley and looking after their 3 children together. I think they should, quite frankly. But you do what's right for the kids, right? Isn't that what makes a truly happy relationship, when you only put the kids first and you end up staying with someone miserably for the rest of your life, right? I mean, that never fails, right? She added, she doesn't control her money. Haley deals with all household outgoings because this lady doesn't feel able to look after her money herself, and Haley is her full-time carer. They intend to reconcile and bring their 3 children up. Shocker. Isn't it nice? So progressive that you basically do what a lot of families did in like the 50s and 60s when people cheated on each other or beat each other up. They stayed together for the kids. District Judge Samuel Blah Blah ordered Budgeon to complete a 12-month community order and pay £170 in costs. To those of you that have watched this and gotten this far, I would like you to tell me what you think should happen next. Do you think the sentence was right? And if you don't think it was right, what do you think the sentence should have been? And considering the condition, the polycystic ovary syndrome thing, do you think it's enough of an excuse to blame it on male testosterone? Because I personally am going to tell you no, outright, if I haven't already stated it, what should have happened. She should have gotten 5 years in jail. Done. I don't care for the whole good behaviour crap. You committed a crime. You allowed yourself to put yourself in a weakened state enough so that you would end up putting yourself in a position of harming your wife. You forfeited your freedom when you broke the law. And that sounds callous, but I say it because I have never once in my life thought to myself, you know what I want to do? I really want to go beat a woman up. Because that just sounds so appealing to me. It really doesn't though, does it? Because that's not how civilized people operate. And I have far more testosterone in my body than you do. If you couldn't handle a tiny dose, try being a man. And consider this. If a man had committed this crime, he would have gotten 5 years. If a man had done that stabbing, the Oxford student, no matter how good he was, he would have gotten prison. It's ridiculous the levels of sexism that exist in our justice system. And I'm not even talking about all the crimes we've got. Let's face it, with the recent spate of rape claims being thrown out because of the absolute trash that is the Metropolitan Police hiding evidence under the guise of it being, quotes, too personal. Oh, I'll get to that. I'm saving up for that. Anyway, I hope you all have a lovely day, and thank you all for listening.
For those of you about to die.
I do this in the name of BadOPCode is cute.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
It only set one of them off.
Oh my god, you didn't...
It only triggered one of them. Right, ready?
Yep.
Is everyone in position again?
Of course.
I'm hoping I'm outside the blast radius.
Some of those blocks went flying. Some of them actually flew up to the roof.